Hey there, sales champions, and welcome back to Blackwoods Academy Sales Tip of the Day. Today, we're going to be diving into objection handling. It's one of the most critical skills in sales. You're in the drill, you're in the middle of a pitch, and then you hear, I'm not interested, we already have a solution, and it can feel like the end of the call, but it doesn't have to be. If you've been following along on our videos, you know we've already covered feel, felt, found. Just to take a quick recap of it, feel felt found is a pretty basic and well-known, method to deal with objections. It's basically, if we take a really quick example of it, let's say you're selling mobile phone subscription. You call someone up, you say, "Hey, I am Bjarne, I'm calling from telephone company X. Wanted to hear, if I could tell you about our new mobile phone subscription." If they go, no, you know what, I'm already happy with where I am, then you can either, go the bad route, which I don't recommend, and I don't think most of you do, but where you go, what, you don't want to save money? Oh, what is, become angry, because make it almost like an argument, or if you go like, what, you don't even want to listen to me? Like, why not? Like, whatever it is, or just goodbye. Like, oh, okay, sorry that I bothered you, goodbye. So there you can use feel, felt, found real fast. And you don't have to say the words, but just to make it less complicated, you can just go very fast into, you know what? I get it. I feel you. I get it. It's a nuisance to go and change your mobile phone to get a new SIM card. And there's a lot of customers that I've talked to that have felt the same way. And what they found out is after they heard about our new subscription and how much money they're saving, they actually found that it didn't matter that much. Yes, it's a little bit of a hassle in the beginning, but with the savings that you're getting, you're going to be happy that you did it in the end. Do you mind if I tell you quickly about it? Doesn't that sound fair enough? Or, do you mind if I tell you quick about it and then you can make an informed decision? But it's the same. I feel you. I know it's an issue and it's a problem or it's a time thief to go change, the SIM card. Others have felt it. This is what they found out. So that's a very simple way to use it and a very, so that's a little bit of a quick recap of feel, felt, found. It's one of my favorites to use. And of course, you don't have to say, I feel you, like you can, but I usually, if in that situation, I would go somewhere, like I said before. Hey, I totally get it. Like it's a nuisance to go down there and get a new SIM card and change it out, move the phone numbers over. I've talked to many clients that have, expressed the same concern that, it just takes time. I don't have it. So, but what they have, is discovered is that by changing the amounts that they save or the extra data they get or blah, 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 whatever it is, that it actually is worth the trip and worth the hassle. So do you mind if I take 2 minutes of your time and then you can make a decision from there? And, doesn't that sound fair enough? And that will usually get you in through the door, at least a lot more of the time than saying just no and giving up or just getting angry and having an argument with them. So I wanted today to go through another very powerful framework that has gained traction in sales and customer service. It's widely used. It's the LAER method. The LAER method is very simple, very good. This is a very it's a little bit more modern than feel, felt, found. It's been there for ages, but look, feel, felt, found still works. I've heard people say in sales, it's an outdated model, it's old. It still works. It's basic. It's the same as AIDA, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. It was first created in 1876. People aren't more different since then. Like we're still human. We still have the same kind of drive and instincts and whatever you want to call it. And the same is here with feel, felt, found. Yes, it's from, I think it's the 70s or something, but it still works. It's a simple frame just to keep it top of mind that you don't go into an argument, that you acknowledge what they're feeling and you go and then tell them what other have found out that were in similar situation. So look, let's not waste any more, waste any time. Let's just dive in here. So why are objection a good thing? Let's start with first changing our mindset. Look, we've talked about it before. In sales, you can learn all the tricks and trades of the book, but if you don't have the right tonality, if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to get anywhere anyway. So you can research all the frameworks and all the fancy things around the world that other people have done and think you have some magic formula that has never been seen before or a new framework that has just come out. But if you don't have the right mindset, you don't have the right tone, they're not going to work. So first, we're going to shift our mindset. Objections are not rejections. Okay, an objection, if they say no, leave me alone, stop calling me, that's a rejection. If it's, you know what, like it sounds a little bit expensive, or it sounds time consuming, or it sounds this, it's not a rejection. They're actually buying signals. That's what you want to look at it. When a prospect is raising an objection, it means they're engaging with you. At least they're having a dialogue. And that's exactly what I was talking about before. You don't want to go into an argument. You want to have a conversation with them. So they're engaging with you. They're interested. They just need more information or a little reassurance. This is your chance to build up trust and guide them towards your solution. So the way you handle objections will determine the entire conversation moving forward and the how it ends. So let's arm you with another tool. We've already gone through feel, felt, found, and you can see them in a previous video if you haven't. And we'll give you a new tool here that will actually help you as well. So that is the layer. So listen, acknowledge, explore, respond. It's not crazy, crazy complicated, and they don't need to be. Look, all these fancy sales coach out there or something like that, and so most of them are very good, not taking any shots at anyone, but they want to maybe sell you on some crazy, complicated, framework that has just been invented with all the new psychological babble booble around it. They don't have to be this complicated. So if you have the right mindset, like we worked on, the right tonality, this one is simple. It's listen, acknowledge, explore, respond. So how the steps work are very basic and they work. Basic does work. You don't need to overcomplicate this. So let's look at the first one, listen. So let the prospect fully explain the objection without interrupting them. Have active listening skills. Example, if they say, we already have a solution, let them explain. We went through this in our previous model about, the power of silence. Let them speak, give them space, let them, tell you. They will tell you what the problem is and how you can respond to it. They will give you gold along the way. So let them. So, if you interrupt, you just seem defensive. And while you're listening and showing them the respect, it builds also rapport. They feel like you're actually paying attention. So, I mean, look, this goes for anything, relationships even. Like, if you don't listen to your partner and acknowledge what they're saying, they're gonna get annoyed, and it's something you gotta be careful about. So let's look at the step number two. Show them that you understood and that you heard and understood their concerns. I hear you. You've already invested in a solution that's working for you. So why this works? I mean, look, this is basic, but still, let's go through it for anyone. Is people want to feel understood. Look, we all have trouble. We all have issues in our lives and problems, and we probably think that we're the only one in the world dealing with them. But to us, they're major problems. Even you might think that him saying, "Well, it's expensive," would be like, "Well, come on!" Like, yes, it is expensive because it's amazing, but that's an issue for him, and it's an important issue. So you want to make them feel understood, acknowledge their perspective, and reduce the resistance thereby. And it opens the door that he will listen. So if they tell you we already have a solution, if you go and I'm making an exaggerated example, like I don't care, or well, that has nothing to do with me, or like something silly like that, of course it's going to close it down. Or even if you just don't acknowledge it. If you just go, well, okay, well, the price is still like fair. It doesn't matter, like what you think about it. If you think about all the hours, like he's just gonna look and go, this guy isn't listening. He's not gonna. I don't want to work with this guy. Remember, three things they gotta like. They gotta like the product, the company, and you. So acknowledge them, acknowledge their pain, and make them feel understood. It's gonna get you a long way. The third step is ask an open-ended question. So this is what the feel felt found model doesn't quite maybe go into. There you're gonna go straight into giving them a solution. But here you allow them to explore a little bit more and uncover the roots of their objection. So you can do an example on, you're selling the solution, hey, I'm curious, can you tell me more about what you like about your current solutions? what are the areas that you feel like could be maybe done better? And if you've made him feel acknowledged, he's gonna feel like this is a good conversation. So he's gonna tell you more. And this works because the exploring will shift the focus from the objection to their needs, and it will give you valuable insight that will help you tailor the response. But look, if you ask them like, "Can you tell me more about what you like about your current solution? Are there any areas that you feel could be more improved?" You know, and he might tell you, it's like, "Well, you know what? I really like how easy it is to, if it's an onboarding software, to make a new user. Like it really saves me time. I don't know, improve maybe. It'd be better if it had a better follow-up system or a feedback system or whatever it is." And that will tell you that, like, okay, that's his pain point. So you can go like, you know what? In your response, it will become, that's step number 4. Then you tailor your response to what you learned. So you could go something like, you know what? It sounds like your current solution is working well with onboarding people and making those new user. But you mentioned that you didn't quite like how the follow up is and how we can keep track on, their onboarding or whatever it is that he said. Look, I'd love to show you how we can address that and help you actually make it better and easier. And I promise you, the setting up of new users with our system is just as easy, if not more simple. So this works because your response is now specific and it's very relevant to his pain point. And it's making it clear that you're focused on solving their problem, not just making a sale. Like he doesn't feel like you're trying to steamroll him into saying yes or, trying to pressure him or bamboozle or trick him. You want to make him feel like you're actually solving his issue. Like you care. Like, and you should care. The way, if you care and you actually do this kind of in a good way, when you switch a job or go to a new company or something like that, those clients will follow you. So this is about building relationships because look, your career is long. We always hear that, life is short and make the most of it. And absolutely you should, of course, but it isn't short. Look, I've been in sales since I was 22, 23, maybe, yeah, 23. And I'm 43 now. So it's coming up on 20 years of sales experience. That's a long time. And I still, if I retire at 65, I still have 22 years left. So even if you're getting in sales at a late point in your life, you can still build up a great clientele base that will follow you around. So the LAER method is not about pushing or convincing. It's about guiding the conversation to uncover what the prospect truly needs and showing how you can provide value, how you can help them fix it. And this is a very, very good way of going about it. And it's worked wonders for me and my team and other people that I worked with. So let's look at another thing here. Uh, common objections and how to apply LAER to this. Well, look, let's go through some common objections and please like throw some in the comment section if you want, and I would love to answer them as well. So let's look at, for example, one of the most common one. I'm not interested. Now listen, let them fully express their disinterest. Like if he goes, I'm not interested, don't just jump in. And then, like it was like what we were talking about with the mobile phones. First listen him up. I'm not interested. Let him finish. Give it a little pause. Remember, silence is gold. And then acknowledge, you know what? I hear you. You're not really looking to switch mobile phone, providers, and it's a hassle sometimes on your time. Then you explore. I'm curious, like, what is it exactly that you love about your mobile phone subscription right now? And if I could be even more curious, what are you paying right now for your service? And then let him speak. Maybe you'll just go, look, I don't have time for this. You're done. At least you tried. But you open the door. And if you're courteous, if you use the tonality, if you're confident, he might go, well, look, I really like the coverage because I've used my phone a lot for work. And, what I'm paying, it's about X amount. In that case, you can really see like, oh, you know what? If that's the case, look, I would love to share a quick insight with you on our pricing because we actually can save you a lot of money on that. And our coverage is actually better than what they have, or it's the same network, so you're not going to even feel a difference, whatever it is. Or if he goes, if you ask him, like, can I ask you, like, Are there any specific, challenges with your mobile phone subscription, like your coverage of like calls or, your internet usage or whatever it is? And if you might go like, yeah, you know what, like sometimes my calls get dropped because I might, I drive a lot out in the country, and it's a hassle sometimes, but it's not too bad. Then you can at least respond with that. Well, look, if that's the case, I can actually tell you, and of course you should not lie, so hopefully that's the truth. We have better coverage in the countryside than most, companies. Da da da. Something in that direction. We already have a solution like that. You're probably going to hear that if you're selling a CRM system or an onboarding system to companies, there's a big chance they already have one already doing something. So, what do you start with? Well, listen, allow them to tell you that they have a solution. And if they go into it, if you ask them, hey, listen, do you already have a CRM solution in place? And if so, which one are you using? And they're going to go, well, we're using HubSpot and we've been using it for 3 years. It's been like really good, blah, 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 whatever it is. Then you acknowledge, well, that's great to hear. You know what? I actually talk to a lot of companies that don't even have a CRM system, but it helps so much to keep everything in one place and keep track of it. So it sounds like HubSpot is working really well for you, and that's great. And you guys are on top of it. I'm curious. Can you tell? And then you go into explore. Hey, can you tell me more about what it is that you like about HubSpot? Like, are there any areas of it that you would like to see improved that would be better for suited for your type of business? And then he will tell you like whatever it is. I like that all the information is in one place and it's really well organized. Well, we sell very high technical solutions that are difficult sometimes to track in HubSpot because of whatever. There are so many collaborators or something. And then again, you respond, hey, that's great. It sounds like you're really happy with having everything in one place and not having to have five different systems and having it organized. But you know what? With the collaboration thing, I would love to show you just really quickly how we could actually fix that or complement that and then your specific solution, how you fix it. So, the third and last one that we'll go through this, now is not a good time. You're going to hear that as well a lot. So, let them explain. If he goes, listen, now is not a good time. It's really busy. We just hired a lot of people. We're doing so much onboarding that we don't have time, whatever it is. And then after they've spoken, you know what? I completely understand. Time is everything in this world. So when would be a better time to connect? And while I have you, could I share one quick idea to consider for the future? And that's just opening the door. They haven't said no. They haven't told you to, F off or whatever it is. And then they will tell you like, well, this or that, like, and you go, look, perfect. I'll follow up at a better time, but here's one quick insight just to keep in mind when you're ready, and you can go there. And I would always follow up with, of course, an email, but even that, I would even there's one thing I would even do more, and I don't mind the email follow up, but I usually will set a time to call them back if I can get it through. It doesn't always happen, but a lot of the time when somebody asks me to send them an email, we'll cover that in a different video because that's one of the biggest things that people kind of get caught into is, can you send me an email? So I'll make a separate video for that. But one of the best responses that I've heard, and I use it, quite a bit, is, look, you've received hundreds of emails, if not thousands of them, like I have. Have you ever felt more informed after reading an email or had a quick conversation with someone? And it usually will make them sometimes laugh or like, yeah, you're right. And then I'll say, let me put a placeholder in your calendar. I have your email here or get their email. So then when I'm calling and you're a little bit more, prepared for it, that I'm going to give you a quick call. Does that sound fair enough? And that will help. So you can see what from these examples that we've used, you can notice that like the LAER method is, transforms an rejection and it ends up being, a stepping stone instead of a dead end. So it keeps the focus on the prospects and the needs and build, on the prospects' needs, and it builds trust throughout the conversation. So it is something that's really, really valuable, and I highly recommend that you implement it. And even with the objection of the email, you can use it. Listen to them. When he goes, "Can you send me an email with the information?" Then you acknowledge it. You know what? Like, I get that you want an email. It's really like, convenient and you can always read it when you have time. And then you can, go into explore and just say, I'm curious, have you ever had an email of the thousands that you've gotten through your career that was more informative than a quick conversation with someone on the phone? And you can then, it's a explore and respond. It is a really nice little way to just dive into it and get a second phone call instead. So practice makes perfect. Like with any skill, mastering objection handling, it takes practice. So how do you start with it? Well, I've been absolutely going through this with a lot of people, and I've done this in videos, in other videos, and talked about it before, and I'll say it again. And it's beating the drum of it, and I will die on this hill. Role playing. Get colleagues or a friend or whoever it is that working with or sit around with, or your wife or fiance, and get them to ask you and do objections and practice saying them. This is why, like with the script and everything else, you can prep and prep and prep and prep, but you gotta also go out there and just start calling and get those hits and learn from them. You can record and review your calls. You can evaluate how you applied it, and maybe see a different way of doing it, or and ask other colleagues. How do you respond to it? And the last tip on this practice thing, experiment with different ways, exploring. Just experiment with different ways to explore and respond. Refine your approach based on like what you're seeing works, and it just takes time. Sometimes like I will try a new line or try something else to just see if it fits better, and just see how it hits. And that's okay. There's plenty of fish in the sea, and you're going to get more no's than yes, but remember, every no is a step to your next yes. So look, the more you practice, the more confident you're going to get, and more natural these techniques going to feel. And when you handle objection, you're going to see that you get better with time, and you'll see better results. So let's close this video up. First, mindset. Again, mindset. Confidence and tonality. That's your cornerstone, like, of any sales skill. I don't care if you have the best script in the world or the best product in the world. If you don't know tonality, if you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the right mindset, you're going to lose way more clients than you should. So objections are opportunities to build trust and uncover the needs. Use the LAER method. I'll put it in the video description as well. Listen, acknowledge, explore, respond. It's a powerful framework for objection handling. Go for it. Practice regularly. Make these techniques a second nature. The more you use them, the more they're going to be just something you pick up right away. You're not even going to have to go through the acronym. You just know how to use them. So, as always, if you found these tips helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications for more daily sales tips. And if you're ready to master cold calling or handling objections like a pro, check out on my Udemy course in the channel bio, or go on my website. I do team coaching and other things. So thanks for watching. And, when you go in on Monday, let's turn those no's into a yes. So I'll see you tomorrow for our next tip. And I enjoyed this session. So have a good weekend. Ciao.